The fourth quarter for quite some time, and also, do you think that there could have been some adjustments made during that slide?
Well, Kerry played he set the tone defensively, and he got his hand on a lot of balls, and I thought he played a great game tonight. And as a player, I don't know who's in and who's I know who's on the court at the time, and unfortunately, I don't know how long Kerry was out in the fourth quarter, but that's up to the coaching staff, and that lies on them to get guys who are going in the game. So you got to play with the guys out there, and unfortunately, we couldn't make shots again. That's been the whole theme in this series, and the last team who's hot normally wins the game, and San Antonio was hot at the end.
So you wonder what happens to Jason Kidd. A very interesting summer for him ahead as he tries to figure out where he will land. Meanwhile, for David Robinson, the rest of his life is ahead of him. And you know what? You know that David will do something fantastic right now. The Admiral, who goes out a winner, standing by with our Stuart Scott.
Well, he donates $9 million of his paycheck to charity. He goes out in his last game, scores 13 points and a ridiculous 17 rebounds. Okay, 13 and 17, David, and you're going to retire?
Hey. I'll tell you what, it was designed this way, man. At the beginning of the year, my wife and I sat down and prayed, and I said, I know for sure I'm ready. I know I'm ready to finish this out. And now it's just all so clear. It's like 20/20 hindsight vision. I just see, man, the Lord just laid it out for me, and I just walked in it.
Is it glory?
It's glory. You know what? You talk about giving money away. That's a small thing, man. This is, I'm trying to give other people that same feeling, like, we can go out here and we can play in front of millions of people, and that's great, but other people need to feel this same kind of feeling. And I think there are some kids out there that do feel that because of that.
It's hard to criticize you, but the criticism for you has been, David's an elder statesman now. If the game comes a couple of 3 days after the last game, he's not going to have as much spring in his step. Would you agree with that?
It's moot now, isn't it?
Well, would you agree with it, though?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I felt great.
Did you prove that tonight?
I don't know if I had to prove. Did I have to prove that? I don't know. That's one of those things. It's news. It's I don't watch any of the TV or anything. I just tune into the games, and I felt great all year long. And Pop has really tried to kind of keep my body on good balance. And he only played me 20, 25 minutes a game during the first couple series, and I was just fresh. And if games would have come, if we'd have played back-to-back games after game 5, I'd have been ready to play.
Was there ever a moment in this game, ever, that you thought for a second, maybe one more? Maybe.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
No question. Early on, when we're turning the ball over, we're missing easy shots, we're giving them every opportunity. I mean, they are a very good team. You cannot play as sloppy as we were playing and expect to win the game. And really it was just gutting it out and just hard. I told those guys at the halftime, I said, we are not going to lose this game. I don't care what you say. We're not going to lose this game. And so, I just tried to give them as much energy as I could. Then finally we hit some shots and turned it around.
All right. Wheaties box, 71 points in a game, couple of gold medals, MVP, 2 championships. What's best out of all those?
Wow. Championships. And this one is probably the sweetest because we know what it took to get here, and it was beating the 3-time world champion Lakers. Those guys were fantastic, and getting over that hump was a huge one, and the finishing these guys. That made it really special. This is probably the highest moment.
Classy man, classy player, future Hall of Famer David Robinson. Let's go back to you.
Stu, thanks a lot. And Sean, you know David so well. You played with him. And what would you say about David Robinson, not just the basketball player, but the elder statesman?
Well, the true measure of a man to me is a guy who will help somebody who can't do anything for him. And that is David Robinson to a fault. This guy will treat a man off the street, a homeless man off the street, just as properly as he will treat you or me or the President of the United States. I mean, the guy is an outstanding human being.
And he goes out in style. David Robinson and Tim Duncan combined for 37 rebounds, 2 more than the New Jersey Nets. That tells you about the guy right there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable career for David Robinson. There's the love and the hug. Those 2 guys first came together during the 97-98 season. They go out in style. Let's go back to the studio.
Still to come on SportsCenter, we'll head back to San Antonio for more on the coronation of the Spurs and David Robinson's Hollywood ending. In honor of Father's Day, how the time-honored tradition of the press conference is slowly turning into a family affair. Roger Clemens surrounded by family and friends as he clinched number 300. Now he's one-on-one in our Sunday conversation to discuss which team he feels needs him the most. And while Barrett Robbins' team was left looking for him on Super Bowl Sunday, one of his opponents knew all too well the demons he was facing.
It's a crippling feeling. You know, you just feel crippled. You feel like you can't move. You don't want to move. You don't want to do anything.
He does it without ever talking to the officials, without ever asking for much. But it was amazing what they did in the fourth quarter, because the first 3 quarters, they weren't that pretty, just like some of the other games in this series.
Now, I don't want to give away anything here, but you were sweating this one out a little bit.
No, not
and it's okay for us to be homers here, but really, you've talked about this. These guys were really thinking they were a year away from doing this. Are you surprised they got it done?
Oh, their coach is surprised they got it done. Greg Popovich, about 2/3 of the way through the season, he wanted to put everything into perspective, and he was telling people on a regular basis, we are way ahead of schedule. Now, what's really funny about it all, they haven't even seen the best of Manu Ginobili. If they can keep Claxton, which would be nice, and Steven Jackson, who's an unrestricted free agent, for the next 10 years, and I say 10 years because Tim Duncan is only 27 years old. For 10 years, they could be a huge force in the Western Conference.
Do they go out and get Jason Kidd? Do they need Jason Kidd?
Jason Kidd's a great ball player. I don't know if they need Jason Kidd. If Tony Parker develops, if Speedy Claxton stays, maybe you don't need Jason Kidd. But you do need a little more depth at the 2-guard position because Steve Kerr is 37. I'd like to see Steve Kerr put off his broadcast career for 1 more year and play, and I think Steve Kerr feels the same way, be in his Spurs uniform next year again.
I think there's a good chance of that. We got Jack Haley in the locker room getting champagne all over the place. We're going to get more reaction from the SBC Center. For now, let's go back to our studios and John and Randy.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We got to take a break on the SBC Spurs Title Trail program, but we're coming back and we're going back to San Antonio. Draft had to fulfill that obligation to the Navy, became the Rookie of the Year in 90, Defensive Player of the Year in 92. Every other year or so, he maintained a huge award as far as the NBC regular season, a 10-time All-Star, and Robert Reed mentioned it earlier, the 50 greatest players in NBA history. David Robinson is one of those as well.
No question, but you know, I'm looking at 87 when he came in. I retired in 91. I think all them block shots, he probably got 100 of mine.
On you, yeah.
Coming in with that little weak stuff.
Left and right, huh? Get that out of here.
But you know what? Let's give credit. We keep talking about Coach Popovich. Let's give credit to the assistant coaches that when the season, when it first started, they're going through training camp, and he's looking at assistant coaches and said, who are we going to put on the team to help us win? Man, I want to win a championship. The assistant coaches gave his
step up. Speedy and Jack and Manu, those guys took over on the offensive end and just found a way to win.
This side in the back. Tim, first of all, congratulations. Second, you're losing a key part of this team, and David Robinson. Can you just talk about what you guys are going to miss most about him and what you're going to remember most?
You know what, Dave's been an incredible part of this team for a lot of years, and I can't even imagine, honestly. For a second there on the court, last couple of seconds, I really thought, you know what, I might not play with it. I'm not going to play with this guy again. I'm going to have to come out in this court without him, and it's going to be weird. It's going to, I don't know what to expect, but lucky enough, our guys have done a great job putting teams together. RC and Pop, those guys have done an incredible job of getting players and putting them out on the floor and giving us a chance to win. So we'll fill a void, and we'll find a way to hopefully get back here.
Tim, what effect did winning your first championship have on your confidence and development, and what do you think this championship will do for the younger guys on your team?
I think it'll do an incredible amount for the younger guys, especially guys like Steven Jackson and Bruce Bowen and Speedy. Those guys played incredibly, and Tony Parker was with us the whole time. It's going to help a lot of guys, this experience to make it this far, to be the last team standing, to go through all the trials and tribulations we have all season long, the ups and downs, and it was so much to learn from this season. I think not only this playoff, this series right here, but the entire season in general, it was a great one for these guys.
Tim, y'all's last victory came 4 years ago, far away in New York. This time you're on the home court. What kind of a different feeling is that for the team? What kind of
it's an incredible feeling. It's great. We've I don't think I've ever won a series at home in the playoffs. I'm not really sure, but it's an incredible feeling to do it here. We wish that the stress coming into here, you think you want to finish it in 4 or 5 games and get it over with, but to be here and to have the opportunity to win in front of our fans and give our fans a kind of a treat, it's great for them. It's great for us.
Last question here.
All right, Tim Duncan at the podium inside the SBC Center. Again, the numbers incredible. 21 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. What a night. What a way to go out tonight.
He was 2 blocks away from a quadruple-double in the biggest game, certainly of the season, arguably of his career. They're moving people in and out at that podium. David Robinson sliding in there. Let's take you back live to the SBC Center.
And so that was kind of going through my mind the whole time. And then when we kept turning the ball over and made some, gave them some transition buckets, I was thinking, man, we got to do something dramatic to get this thing turned around. And that was probably the lowest that I felt. I kind of felt like, there's actually thought maybe a game 7, but you just keep fighting through that stuff, and that's what we kept doing. That fourth quarter was just unbelievable. It was fantastic. We finally made some shots. Stephen hit a couple big threes and kind of helped turn us around. So, it was kind of an up and down game a little bit, but kind of figured that we'd fight through it.
This side in the back.
David, congratulations for tonight and a remarkable career.
Thank you.
When you wake up tomorrow and you realize it's over, what are you going to do? And second question, why have you chosen to give so much back to this city?
Well, the first question is the answer is that I've seen this coming for a long time. So it's no surprise, Last year when we prayed about this, my wife and I sat down and we prayed about it, and we sat down, and we made that decision at the beginning of the year because my heart was just settled. I knew that this was it. I knew that this was supposed to be the time. It's just sometimes God speaks to your heart and you just have a settled feeling about it, and I knew that. So all year long, I just kind of enjoyed it. Everything that came along, I've just swallowed up, and it even now confirms it the way it's come to end. My last game, streamers flying, world champions. How could you write a better script than this, man? It's unbelievable. I mean, I've had some ups and downs in my career, but I'm going to end on the highest of highs, and I just praise God. This has been unbelievable. I've seen it coming, so I know it's almost like, graduating from high school or college or something. I just know there's the next phase of my life, and I'm excited about it. There are lots of opportunities out there, but that's tomorrow. I'll tackle that challenge tomorrow, and today I'm kind of just going to enjoy the finish of the first phase of my life.
Next question in the back corner.
Some quickies, David. Do you drink champagne? And this morning, could you ever have dreamed that you would end up with 17 rebounds in this game? And could you have imagined that? And third of all, who is going to be the spiritual and competitive and enthusiastic leader to take over your role in the future on this team?
Yeah, that's first of all, no, I just wear champagne. I don't drink it. Second of all, I remember that third question. The second one now, kind of. What was the second one?
Do you think you ever could have got that?
I didn't figure that I'd get 17. I just knew I wanted to make an impact in this game. And actually, to be honest with you, coming into the game, I was thinking, I almost don't want to do too much because when I have a pretty decent game, we don't win. So I was thinking, okay, I want to, block some shots and make some things happen, but I don't want my stats to look too good because we seem to lose when I actually get some decent stats. So I wasn't that concerned about statistics. I just wanted to make an impact in the game, and fortunately, early on, I could feel that I was going to make an impact in this game. And in regards to the third question, just coming up this year, you lost the ball. Really, Malik is kind of the best guy to come in succession. I mean, he's really he's really grown a lot spiritually and maturity-wise. He's becoming more of a leader, more of an example guy. We get together and we always get and study our word together, and I see him growing as a man. Kevin Willis was one of my I mean, that was my strong brother this year. I love Kevin. I love him to death. And I hope he's around this next year for, I know he's going to play. I hope he plays here this next year so that he can be one of those guys to keep everybody steady, because you got to have that in the locker room. And that has been one of the strengths of our team. We've got a lot of young guys that, man, they could go off the deep end at any time, and they have often this year. Pop has done a good job of reeling guys in. You know, he benched some guys. He shifted our lineup around a little bit, but all those guys came around and responded terrifically. And I think a lot of it was because of some of that leadership. Kevin's voice in the locker room, Steve Kerr's voice in the locker room, Steve Smith's voice at times, my voice, and obviously Tim Duncan stepping up and being the leader that he is. So, you know, as far as the spiritual leaders go, I think Malik is the most obvious guy, and probably Kevin stepping up and becoming that.
Milton, last question here in the back corner.
Yeah, David, you talked about the situation having the streamers and winning the championship on your floor. There was another player who's leaving with you this year who had that very similar situation and decided to come back. Can you talk about how you knew this was the moment to leave and Michael didn't?
You know, Michael's a different situation. Who can compare themselves to Michael? You know, Michael is Michael. This is, you know, this is just my life. I know it's right for me, you know, and for him, you know, he wanted to come back, and I mean, the first time he came back, he did an unbelievable job. They won 3 more championships. I mean, he's unbelievable. But for me, I know. And I feel great about it. So, I mean, like I was saying earlier, there's no bitter to it. It's all sweet. It's great.
Thank you, David.
That is David Robinson, and yes, thank you, David Robinson, for all you have given to this league.
We got some steals, we pushed it back up, and then all of a sudden they were in rotation, and guys were wide open all over the court.
If you were a fan, and I would tell you, the Spurs put together a 19-0 run in which Tim Duncan didn't even score, what would you say? A fan now, not Tim Duncan.
I'd say no way. I'd say no way. I'd say no way being me. I didn't believe that. But as I said, those guys hit shots. Speedy took over. He came off those pick and rolls. He was wide open. Guys went underneath. He made shots. Steven Jackson not having a great night, but he continues to play. He's grown so much the entire season. He hit some big shots for us. So knowing the team that I know, I believe it.
All right, the question that you don't want to answer. Would you like to have Jason Kidd as your teammate next year?
You know what? We have one heck of a team here, and adding Jason would add an incredible player to our team, but that's not something I can answer right now. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm incredibly happy with the guys we have. Incredibly happy.
Incredible player. Only 2 players in NBA history have averaged 25 points, 15 rebounds for their NBA Finals career. This is one of those guys. For Tim Duncan, I'm Stuart Scott. Let's go back to you.
During the excitement with all these fans that are still in here, how are you feeling?
I feel great. It's unexplainable. Only those who have been here can only tell you how it feels.
Now, hard work wins a championship. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears. Is it worth it now that you're standing here?
Oh, absolutely. You know, all the tests and trials that you go through amongst your team, amongst the coaching staff, coaches working till the wee hours in the morning, and guys practicing as hard as they could when they're hurt and things like that. It's all, you know, wiped away because you got a championship, and that's what it's all about.
Now, looking back over the series, I mean, defense wins championships, but you got to have a smile on your face. The guys that you locked up, Kobe Bryant, every player that came your way, you just put the handcuffs on them.
I'm just trying to do what I do, and that's what I do. And if that'll get us a championship any year, then I'm gonna do what I have to do in order to try to attain that goal.
But you told me before the series you want to be a school teacher someday. So what lesson can you teach somebody from this?
Hey, keep working hard on whatever it is that you do. Don't lose sight of the focus that you have, and you don't know what may happen.
And just like the NCAA, cut down the nets when you're finished.
Baby.
Get ready to party. The party is on tonight. Go hit the streets of San Antonio, baby. Go hit the fans. Back to you guys at the desk.
Boy, Jack Haley's a little fired up tonight, huh?
Man, let me tell you, that's the first time I've seen Jack without a suit. No ego. He thought he was
spiritual leader of this team, according to David Robinson.
I'm here with a man who epitomizes the heart and soul of the Spurs. They call him the Energizer Bunny, the human can of Red Bull.
Man.
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling like I just had a 6-pack of Red Bull, man. I'm just feeling awesome.
What does this mean to the Spurs? And most importantly, what about your friendship with Dave Robinson?
Man, my friendship with Dave Robinson is not over. It's just, you know, our teammate days are over, but he's still my brother in Christ. He's still, you know, a great advisor to me, but I'm just so happy for him, man, because he's done so much for me, this team, this franchise, this city. He's done everything anyone's ever asked for him, and for us to send him out this way, it's just fitting.
Now, a lot of us have followed you in your little live on the camera reality tour you've been doing for the NBA TV.
Survival series, yeah.
And you told me, I mean, you said a couple times there was never any doubt in your mind you're going to win a championship. Now that it's said and done, you still feel that way?
Oh, I have absolutely no doubt that we're going to win a championship because the Reigns have come home. San Antonio, we got the Reigns back where they belong, and hopefully we can get them again next year.
All right, a little something for the crazy fans out there. Tell me something for the San Antonio faithful.
San Antonio faithful, I'm letting y'all know. Tonight it may not be much to do because it's a Sunday in San Ann, but next week, starting Monday to Monday, I'm partying all week. So if you see me, let's do it. Let's do it and do it right.
You heard the man, Malik Rose hitting the town. The party is on. Catch you on the Riverwalk. Way to go, baby. World champs. World champs.
All right, Malik, right now, just like David Robinson wears the champagne. He doesn't drink it.
See the
we got to
difference.
keep Malik under control.
See, now that's why the good Lord wouldn't let me win, because I've been with my brother. This is the Muscatel. This is MD 2020. We all partying up in here.
Hey, making him the only player in history besides Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to win all 3 titles. The Spurs' all-time leader in games, rebounds, block shots, assists, and free throws, Robinson was named MVP in '95. Not coincidentally, the year San Antonio won its first title. But you knew David Robinson was exceptional right from the start. Right from the day the Spurs made him the #1 pick out of the Naval Academy in 1987. The Admiral had a 2-year military commitment, and in those days, the Spurs were awful. If he didn't sign, he could have gone back into the draft. But Robinson felt obligated and signed up for an unforgettable mission. His first season, the Spurs went from 21 wins in '86 to 56. At the time, the biggest reversal in history. His most important statistic, however, may be the number 9, as in $9 million that he and his wife donated to start the Carver Academy, a faith-based private school for underprivileged children on San Antonio's east side. Giving is something that the good guy, Robinson, is great at. So much so that he's almost been honored as much for kindness and generosity as he has been for playing. He was inducted into the World Sports Humanitarian Hall of Fame and received the 1999 Mont Blanc de la Culture Award, the first athlete and youngest recipient in the award's history. Robinson has done so much for his neighborhood that the NBA announced his annual Community Assist Award will be renamed the David Robinson Plaque. Honorable certainly describes David Robinson, but really, the honor was all of ours.
Yes, it was. It was our privilege to cover and to watch David Robinson through an NBA Hall of Fame-like career. It was an admirable career from the days as the #1 overall pick in 1987 to the 2-time NBA champion. And who'd have thunk it way back then when they were a 21-win team.
He's come a long way, and he's going home with an NBA championship. Now, you talk about the New Jersey Nets. Give them some credit for making it back to the NBA Final Series, back-to-back seasons. They have some company now for teams that have made it to back-to-back NBA title series and have lost both of those. Here's some teams you probably remember. Of course, New Jersey last year, this season. Utah, the 97 and 98 teams. The Lakers 4 times. Can't get the title on return trips to the big series.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, those 83 and 84 Laker teams, Pat Riley believes if they hadn't won it in '85, he would have been